Welcome back to Homeschool Podcast. I'm Augustino Zoida. I'm the host of the Homeschool Podcast. If you don't know by now, that's the deal. And I'm happy to have you guys with us. We know you got a lot of options for podcasts out there, like this guy's podcast. Alex Woody is here today, and I'm doing his podcast. I love doing other people's podcasts. I do mine all the time. So it's fun to break it off and do different. This is what we call a swap cast. I just did one last week with Darren Carter, and that was fun. And already it seems like this one's going better because Alex actually has internet. Because Darren Carter was like on a farm and it kept buffering. Anyway. So welcome, everybody. This episode is brought to you by Puffy Mattress. Puffy Mattress is America's leading company when it comes to memory foam mattresses. They're the best. They deliver it right to your door. It's super exciting. You get the box just like on the commercial. It unfolds. It's fucking terrific. And the best thing about Puffy Mattress is not only they're number one by America, they were voted number one because they're the best and the most comfortable and actually legit. But also another cool thing about them is that they're donating mattresses to children. So if you are participating, if you're getting yourself a mattress, shopping Puffy Mattress, that goes to a child in need of, who doesn't have a night place, some place to sleep. So that's always really difficult for me to read because I always feel weird about saying they're giving a bed to a child that needs it. I just but they're doing it. They donated over 1,000 beds in 2020, and this year they hope to do better than that. So all you got to do is click the link in the description, hook yourself up. It's time to start focusing on you and your rest and the importance of a good night's sleep. And get rid of that old mattress that you can't sleep and you got backaches and stuff. So head over to Puffy Mattress and I'm going to hook you up with $300 off. Just use the link in the description. And that's it, you guys. Thank you for coming to the show. And make sure you check out homeschooled.com. You can pick up all your merch, homeschool t-shirts and mugs and stickers and my comedy album. All the links are at homeschooled.com.
Please take your seats. School is now in session.
Welcome to Homeschool Podcast.
Homeschool.
The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
It's time to document the journey.
All right, as I said, this is Alex Woody's show. We're going to kick it over to him. Go ahead, buddy.
This is Midnight in the Bay podcast. I'm your host, Alex Woody, your favorite Woody. Well, maybe not your favorite Woody, guys, but your second favorite Woody. And this is episode 166. They said it couldn't be done. They said it wouldn't be done. They said I was part retarded. But we're showing them wrong, and we're moving on, and we're being strong, right, guy? And I'm here with a huge guest. Usually I'm on here talking about my grandma, how she fingered me in the butt, you know what I mean? Usually I'm out here complaining about my wife, or I get, some drug guy I used to hang out with, but I actually got a comedian, a fellow comedian. He's kind of like a pen pal comedian. Never met him in person, but I listened to his podcast because it's got great tips. It's called the Homeschool Podcast. You can find it where you get podcasts. He's got great comedy tips on there. And, being someone somewhat new, it was great to hear that. So I reached out to him. And we did a podcast before, probably like a year ago. I think I smoked about a pound of weed. I was jittering and jiving. I also was even newer to comedy and also might have had appendicitis going on. So now we're feeling good. I just had my first beer and I'm happy to bring on Augustino Zoida.
Thank you for having me, buddy. What do you mean first beer? Like first beer since the appendicitis?
No, first beer of the day.
Oh,
I literally you said, let me know when you're on, and then you'll accept my invitation. And I was like, hang on, I got to crack a beer real quick.
Hey, I ain't mad at you, man.
One of those days,
Today's like the first day that I'm going to legitimately try not to drink. Really long time. Yeah. Yesterday was supposed to be that day, but by the end of the day, I was like, fuck it. So I'm gonna try to see if I can go all the way to Sunday, because Sunday I'll drink and watch some football. So I'm gonna try to see if I can go 2 day through Sunday, no drinking. It's the goal this week.
I feel like I'm talking to myself in the mirror because I did 14 days off starting on the 2nd of January. And then the playoffs started.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been hanging out with people because we've been afraid of COVID. We know some old people. And my buddy was like, if I leave the doors, windows open, you want to come over? I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had a drink with them, and it's
Yeah, man.
fucking NFL,
You got to go out and keep your sanity at bay, because I know people are worried about COVID and stuff like that. But at one point you got to go, all right, it's my mental health or like I might get COVID, and you got to make the judgment call, and then if you make the judgment call and you go out and do something fun or that brings you back to, some kind of sane place, then you just go home and you like quarantine for 2 more weeks and don't see anybody.
Yeah, I feel like that's not good for you.
Yeah, not at all.
You need to see people, especially us comedians. I need people. I run out of people to talk to. I call people I haven't talked to for like 15 years. Hey, you remember me from high school?
Did you really?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been so bored, and you start thinking about the past. This whole pandemic, I've been thinking about the past, my faults, where I failed in life. It's like been a whole examination of life. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's been some of that, but the good thing about it is I've always kind of looked at my faults and regrets and what would I have done differently. So I think the fact that we have this pandemic makes me feel better about it, because I'm like, well, what if I did go to college and work so hard? We would have been shut down anyway. You know what I
mean? Right.
Like, we're shut down. You're shut down with a student loan. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm just shut down.
Right. I get you. Looking at the positives.
Yeah, but
you
I always
flip
do
it.
that.
That's what comedians do, though. See, I know you're a good comedian because you flipped it right there.
I can flip it, man. Do you normally?
I feel like I just saw that episode of you with Lee Sayat, and I feel like I'm like a little skinnier version of him. If I do this, but if I do this, I feel like it's episode 2, part 2.
Yeah. Lee fills up the whole side, that whole one side.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you get Tom Segura a lot?
Yeah, I got two Tom Seguras last week. The subway guy and another like random guy passing me. And you know what? I was too much of a pussy, or it just felt too awkward to go, hey, by the way, I do comedy. You know what I mean? I didn't. So I just, next time though, I was thinking about next time someone says that to me, like, do you know what you look like? Tom Segura? I'm going to go, duh, that's me.
Yeah.
Where's my coffee? Just turn into a prick.
What's
funny is I look like Tom Segura, but I have a personality of Bert Kreischer. I'm a party animal. I'm ready to go.
He loves his beer too, bro.
Yeah. Now I am, after football, I am going to take another break because I want to lose some of the weight too. You can't lose weight and drink,
Yeah. Well, I do love beer, but I actually do take big breaks from beer. Like, I'm not drinking beer right now. I drink every day, but it's like hard alcohol. But I mean, beer is definitely the like really fattening. I mean, so is like a lot of hard alcohol, but I mean, beer is like a lot of carbs, and so I won't drink beer every day. And it's not like I'm trying to really take a break from alcohol and like I want to see if I can not do it anymore. I never really had a problem until these lockdowns, and now it's like I'm drinking every night, and mostly it's like, trying to fill a void of not being able to go out every night and do comedy. So I'm just sitting there and I'm drinking, and so this is just, it's come to like, I need to dry out for 1 week. I just need to like have my pee not be gold for 1 week.
I feel like I gotta go become a monk after this shit's over.
I know, right?
All the porn and all the alcohol and weed.
Gonna wash off on the
like
dirty.
A sinister villain.
Yeah. So do you normally not have guests on?
I mean, I'm starting to more now, but I kind of like just doing it by myself because it forced me to write what's going on. And even if the jokes were shitty, I'd make fun of them being shitty. Like, it was more just kind of, I liked, I liked Chris D'Elia's podcast back in the day because it was basically just solo him fucking around, making fun of shit.
Wasn't it just like
And
30 minutes or something like that?
they were like an hour.
Oh, okay. I might be thinking.
But so I started doing 30 minutes, and then the more I became more studious, I guess you would say, and wanted the podcast to be more, so I started reading and researching more. Then the time started building, and also the more I did comedy, that helped doing the podcast. And then like my high school friends like it, and so I kind of played to that. And people are always curious about comedy, so that's the whole thing is. We were doing shows. So if I'm doing a solo podcast, I could talk about the shows we're doing.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, we're going to talk about my porn addiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I can only talk about that for 5 minutes, So
how's the show's been going? Are you trying out material? Are you doing jokes?
Well, remember I told you I was going to headline a gig and then I wanted to come on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that got canceled because the second lockdown started or whatever.
Right.
And so I got that headlining gig. Now it's really a feature gig. It's only like 30 minutes. But it's the most time I will ever do. And that's on the 31st.
But you're last still.
What?
Are you still last?
Yeah.
On the lineup. So
you
are the headliner.
Yeah.
It's
I know sometimes it happens. You get they call it a headliner in the middle, but
you're like, I'm just last.
Yeah, and they're paying pretty decent. And I've never even met the person. They've just seen me. I took my shirt off at a rowdy mic. And for some reason, I got me shows. And I got me this Booker chick liked it. I told her I was married too. I said, don't invite me to touch the willy. I just here for comedy. So
hey, just
hopefully they like it.
Whatever you got to do.
Hey, you know what? I was going to say, I really liked and I had in my notes here I want to talk about. I really liked the tip you had on one of your episodes last year with the cross that you do.
Oh, yeah.
To figure out, well, you break it down for him. What do you do with the cross? Yeah, what do you do with the cross thing?
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like my Catholic writing, my Catholic writing style. Okay. So I basically just take a blank piece of paper and I write I just draw a giant like cross, like a crucifix. And I got a notebook right here. So I'll just, just right down the middle of it. I just draw this, like, can you see that? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So like this big cross down the middle. And then the top left corner, I'll write home. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but your top left corner, I call it home. Okay. And then it's been a while since I've done this. And then the top right corner, I'll put new. And then the bottom right corner, I'll put premise. Okay. So here, sorry, I'm gonna put this over here. So this is the way I do it, because what happens is a lot of comics is you have your jokes, and like I'm not saying the whole written out joke. I'm just saying like your chapter title, your anchors, whatever your bullet points, whatever you call them. You'll have like this set list, and so I'll watch so many comics like have jokes in the wrong order, or struggle with building a set 5 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. And this has just helped me stay so organized with all of your bits. So home is basically that's your set. That's your set that you're currently doing. And that's the set that you're working on and that you eventually want it to grow to be an hour. That's like your hour. That's your hour special, if you want to call it that. And then I think it's too late here. And then new, obviously you put like all the new jokes. And then the bottom right, you put premises, which are basically jokes that like they work and they're just not perfect yet. And they haven't graduated to new. So then like, why wouldn't you, once they are done, like, why wouldn't you just put them from premise right to home? Because, and the reason for that is because it has to go in the right order. It needs to graduate first. So like I'll try jokes at an open mic over and over and over again until it's right. And then once I think it's finally ready for the real set, I'll take it from here and I'll put it up in here. And then I'll have like all these new bits that I don't know where they're going to go here. So then I'll like, let's say this one's about, marriage. So I know right here, I open with a thing about my family, and then family will eventually lead to relationships, and then relationships will lead to a story about my wife. So like, and then, let's say, and then actually I open with a story that has nothing to do with any of that stuff. And then it goes to family, then it goes to relationships, then it goes to a story. And then let's say you got a bit over here that's about the trash man coming or something, whatever bit you got. Now you're not going to take this joke about your wife and put it over here with the trash man. You're gonna see how you can work it right here, so you have like all these smooth transitions, and then before you know it, you're gonna have that bit, that bit, that bit, that bit, that bit, and then this line represents your half hour, and then below here, the goal is to fill it up with the other half hour, and then once you have everything all written down, you're going to I know you've heard this before, but it's easier to see it, right?
Well, and you know what? The way it's a good refresher because I did this earlier today, getting ready for the spot.
Yeah.
And I did completely different. And I like the way you're doing because the hardest thing for me is connecting the dots because I come up with a lot of just lines that, I'm like, where the fuck am I going to put this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's funny.
Right. And then sometimes you hang on to those for years, and then one day you'll come up with a bit and go, oh, that line will work right here. Sometimes you just hang on to it. That's why it's great to have like everything like kind of written. And then another thing I do is like actually once you have everything written out, let's say you get to your 30 and then you get to your hour, you'll have it all in the right order. And then what I'll do is I'll go back to it and I'll look at it, and then sorry, it's hard to see. I'll do lines. I'll do lines like this, like, that bit and that bit and that bit is about 5 minutes total because they're short bits. So then I'll do a line like that and I'll go, that's 5 minutes. Then do the same thing. That's 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes. And then there's two reasons why you do that. One is you don't always get a half an hour to practice on stage. Right. People aren't handing out 30-minute spots. Right, you usually get 5-minute spots.
Right.
So you go, I want to work my half hour. That means I got to hit a bunch of fucking spots. And then the first one, I'm going to do that 5, and then I'm going to do that 5, and then I'm going to do that 5. And if you can do like 3 mics in a week, that's 15 minutes right there. And you can just keep working them and practice them. Same if you do the hour, you just keep going down. The second reason why you do those little lines in between every 5 minutes, we want a closer at the each of 5 minutes because you're only doing 5-minute sets at little stupid bar shows or open mics or whatever the fuck you can get your hands on. Right. So you're only doing 5-minute sets, and you're like, this week I'm going to work on this 5-minute set. But what if that 5-minute set doesn't end with anything that big? You want to open strong, you want to end strong of every performance. So that makes you like come out the gate hard and go out every 5 minutes. So imagine when you do the 30, you're going to have a closer every 5 minutes, and you're going to tear it up.
Yeah. How do you know what's a closer? Your biggest laugh?
Biggest laugh, smartest punchline, fewest setups with punchline. Stuff that gets the laugh the quickest is not always necessarily the closer. That's stuff that you want to open with. You want to get the laughs fast and convince them that I do a lot of stories and or what's the word I'm thinking of? Not confrontational. Yes, that word. I do a lot of controversial bits.
Oh, right. Well, wait. And you know what? I just want to do a quick advertisement for that.
Oh, sure.
Go check out his album, Bad Guy.
Yeah.
Fucker, you think I didn't listen to it? I listened to it. I listened to it when you released it in June, and I got a refresh today because I knew we were going to talk. And I liked it, and I think people should check it out. I found it on Apple. I'm assuming it's on everything.
It's everywhere. Spotify, Amazon, Prime. Yeah.
Very relatable. Very relatable.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
You could go to, by the way, you can get it on Amazon. And today I went on Amazon and I noticed that a private seller is selling a used copy for $40. I'm like, bro.
He'll probably get it too. He'll probably get it. People are dumb.
It's like you can get one for 10, a new one. But do you think something's controversial in that album? Is that why you brought it up?
It's probably your dad. Hey, it's probably your dad. Hey, you know what? I think you spoke from the heart, and that's why I liked you from the start. I heard you on the Joey Diaz podcast. That's what introduced
Oh,
me
thanks, man.
to, and Joey Diaz speaks like that, And I
Yeah.
like Jimmy Schuber a lot. He speaks like that. His album was great.
Yeah, he's great. He's a beast.
And you also open up for Sam Tripoli. He's great. He
Yeah.
speaks his mind a little too much, like,
dude, he's the best, man.
Institution, but
he's such a nice guy, dude.
I don't like fake people.
Yeah.
And people that are afraid, and it has like affected me because I've used words, especially here in the Bay Area. Just my couple years in comedy, I've had people stop my shit. Like, you can't say that.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I yelled at the person. But now I obviously would make a joke out of it or something. But I like people that speak their mind. That's my point.
Yeah. I mean, it's your art. You should be able to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm a firm believer in that. I'm also a firm believer in having common sense and knowing your audience, and if you know what I mean, you gotta feel it out. You gotta see if they're ready for it. And then you can't be raunchy or offensive or dirty for no reason. Like, bro, I ain't mad at you. I have a couple of bits that are dirty, and I don't consider myself a dirty comic. I don't like to put that title on myself. I don't shoot to be a dirty comic. Sometimes a story or a bit comes up that I think is worth sharing. It might be, dude, I got a whole anal bit that's fucking murderous, and I get away with it. Women laugh at it. Husbands and wives, grandmothers, like, I get away with it because I'm not just saying dirty shit just to say dirty shit. You know what I mean?
You're saying something that's like real truth.
Yeah.
People have experienced it.
I swear to God, bro, it's a clean anal bit. It's the way that you work. They're out there. Watch out. Watch out, everybody. But yeah, you can take my album, which, by the way, the album I recorded years ago. I just never really was able to get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. My hour now is none of that, dude. And I've just grown. But even if you look at that set list on the back of I could probably pull it up right here later when I'm editing this video. So if you look at the set list on the back of my comedy album, it starts with, I think the first one I have on there is called A Hacky Joke, right? Like, it's like this story about R&B music and my mom.
Right, the radio.
Yeah. A big chunk of my whole album is relationship stuff. And then, some controversial stuffs where I might offend women a little because I do that whole dark room bit and the callback.
Hey, my favorite's the bitch bit.
The bitch bit. Oh yeah, what was that one again? She
the coworker called her a bitch.
Oh yeah, and I said I got mad because she is a bitch.
Yeah, and you want to be friends with him.
Yeah, keep his number on speed dial and shit. And be like, bro, she's doing it again.
I can relate because I'm married, and
yeah,
a lot of times,
Yeah, but dude, that was my ex-wife that I wrote that bit about.
Yeah,
and that's
when I heard that, I thought it was new, and I thought, sometimes in comedy, you will change the truth so the joke will work.
Yeah, or keep it current and stuff.
You know what I mean? It's an old joke, but you haven't revealed that you're divorced yet in the set, so you can use it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think I recorded that album at the end of 2014.
Okay.
That's how old it is. But I mean,
when did you get divorced?
When did I get divorced? I was already separated when I recorded the album. So I think the divorce was in 2015.
Wow.
But we were already separated. She did not come to the recording of my album.
Oh, really? I thought she'd be front row.
No, dude, we weren't even talking at the time. But I had already been working on that bit for like a year, like all the relationship stuff. It was just accumulated over time. But when
wait, so you said that bit when you were separated?
Yeah.
Oh, so it was fun saying that bit.
Oh yeah, and it came out more
like,
real.
I hope she doesn't hear this or anything. You're like, I hope she fucking hears it.
Yeah. Well, there were parts of the album that I wasn't always 100% happy with, and then the audio quality and stuff like that. So that's why I never released it. And then during lockdown, I just went, you know what? Let me take this thing. I fixed the audio. You can hear the audience laughing better. And then I just edited out a couple of bits that didn't work. But then I was like revisiting. I'm like, I can't believe that all these bits. Some of these bits, I'm like, I should keep doing them. Like my favorite one is that one about dreams. I think that's a solid bit.
Dreams is a great topic.
The dream one.
Talk about dreams.
So there's a bunch of stuff in there that I was just like, oh damn, that's actually a pretty good bit.
What's funny is I think a lot of comedians are doing this. They're going through the material. They're like, I'm not really doing shows. I gotta stay relevant. What can I release on Instagram? I was doing that. What clip?
Yeah.
And there was one set I had and some bits. I was like, this fucking sucks. And then like months later during this, I was like, this isn't bad. And then I posted like a little segment of a thing I didn't really like, and people were like, I loved it. Like even my stepmom liked it, So,
it's so funny what people, like it. You don't even like it.
I hate all my material right now, but I'm gonna do it that fucking day.
Yeah.
Because you're always I think it's like you're always looking for that better fucking bit, that better joke.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, right now, all we can do is go through the archives and just kind of find a little clip to throw on the internet because we're not currently doing shows. But in November, I did Philly with Tripoli, and I had a brand new, like current events, 15 minutes that I added at the top of my like regular set. And dude, we did 5 shows that weekend, and by like the third or fourth show, that 15 minutes was tight, dude. It was like ready.
It's just tight because you're basically repeating the same material, just kind of different ways, kind of natural.
It was great, dude. I have been emailing the club ever since because I know they recorded it and going like, please get me that footage. And they, for whatever reason, like they haven't sent it to me yet. I just want to be like,
lazy.
Like, dude, like I need that. That's like, and it's like, if I post it now, it's all like current event stuff. It's like, things that are happening in the world right now. It's like, it's such good material.
You're checking your email. And I remember you talked about a bit that I can really relate. I don't know if you're working it out right now, but that family member that sends you the Bible verse in the morning.
Yeah. Like that bit is like in the new box. It's not in premise. It goes back and forth between premise and new box because like it works, but then sometimes it works with other bits. Right. And then it won't work with it. So I'm always still playing around with that. I don't always use it.
I can relate. I know what time my mother-in-law gets up. Whenever I get that verse. And she doesn't even send it to my wife. I asked my wife, I'm like, do you get the Bible verse in the morning? She's like, no. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, really? She's not in the group?
It's just me. I think she sends it to people that just need help.
Yeah. She's like, I'm praying for you today.
Last time I saw he had white stuff around his nose. Better send him a couple,
Yeah, man. I'm in my family group chat, and my parents are like so religious, bro. Like my dad just sends a Bible verse every day. And where did you hear that bit? I don't even think it's recorded anywhere.
One of the podcast episodes.
Oh, I just talked about the bit, right?
You just talked about it, like you're thinking about making it a bit, and those things stick out because it's very relatable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
I have the thing is that there's more to it that I can work into, like how do you leave the group chat, because I really want to, but I don't want to offend my family,
Right.
But like the punchline that really works is that my dad started sending GIFs, the GIFs.
Yeah.
And so like every day he sends me a GIF of Jesus, like doing this. Bro, I wake up in the morning and there's Jesus doing this, and then I say, like, by the way, why do people think that Jesus would do this? Like, why do people think that he would do the thing he was murdered on?
That's funny.
And then I go like, imagine if your friend got shot and you go see him in the hospital and you're like, hey buddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's funny. Wow,
so
I love
that part actually works. It's the part about like, how do we get out of this group chat that needs some work?
Well, you know what? You got to do the temporary fix. You got to do hidden alerts. I've got a couple groups I put hidden on that I check once in a while, but I don't want any part of. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't need to donate to fucking Foreskin Anonymous. You know?
I've also got a bunch of stories in the works. I really love doing stories, and I think it's probably the thing that separates me the most from everybody because I get compared to Bill Burr a lot. I get compared to, like, people say I sound like him, which I think I watch him too much and I got to stop doing that. But also I do a lot of relationship stuff.
Wait, stop right there
Yeah.
because that was one of the questions on the phone. I worry sometimes not to listen to too much podcasts of other comedians or too many like specials because I don't want to accidentally do a joke of someone else's, you know? And B, like you said, I don't want to sound like him. Like I listened to Mark Norman for a week and I was saying like, you know, all the shit he says, you know?
It's natural if everyone goes through it when you really admire another comic style and if you watch so much of them. I think that, you know, the first several years it's so important to watch stand-up comedy. But if you start to notice that you start to sound like, and it's okay to kind of sound like them for a while, but then after like for me, dude, as long as I've been doing it, I shouldn't be doing it anymore. Like, so now I gotta like stop watching the same one and just keep watching like others.
Right. Have you ever like accidentally done someone else's joke or was working a bit that was kind of like someone else's and you didn't realize it because for whatever reason, maybe you watched the thing a while ago or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Not that I
think
remember.
I think it's just paranoia because I'll smoke weed and listen to these.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh, no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just kind of getting your response from that, you know. Everyone has their own little take on it.
You'll hear that it's familiar. Like if you might say it and then you might go like, ah, shit, where have I heard that before?
Right. Like I try not to say cocksucker. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
love that, but
Yeah.
we all know where that stems from.
Right. And you can't help but bring your voice a little deep when you say it. You cocksucker. You're like, ah, fuck, I'm doing it. You know, like I always say all the time to everybody, I always go, oh shit, because that's what Joey would do when he would call me or he'd show up at somewhere and when he'd see me out somewhere, he'd be like, oh shit, D'Agostino's here. You know what I mean? So we just all of our circle of friends, we do that to each other to the point where like someone called me out and like, bro, you're stealing Joey's lines. It's like, dude, it's like we're all friends and we said that to each other when we see each other, you know?
It's just like when you were friends in high school. Like I still say rat. That was a big thing. Like, oh shit, that's so rat. Like if someone does something shady. And I got it from someone in school and it just catches on, you know what I mean?
I've never heard that before ever.
You never heard that?
No, I've never heard anybody use that.
Well, I'm gonna keep that.
Yeah, keep that. That dude in high school, he don't have 148 episodes of a podcast. Fuck him.
Hey, watch your tongue. 166.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, by the way, can you tell this is a blanket hanging?
Oh no, I couldn't. It looked like a.
I take this shit. Like this motherfucker's from LA. I gotta look professional here.
Oh, it looks great. It looks great, bro. This is a curtain, and then back here is like my gym and shit.
Oh shit.
I ain't that glamorous either, bro.
Oh, so you got a gym in your place? That's dope.
Well, I have a garage that I've turned into that size of the gym. This size is a podcast studio.
Oh my god, you're like Joe Rogan. You're like a mini Joe Rogan.
Why did he start in the garage?
Probably. I think he started in the closet.
Yeah. No, Rogan started on the couch. I just remember seeing that on the Comedy Store documentary. He started on his couch, and then so I'm like Steve Jobs in the garage.
Right. You just move your way up. That's great. Does that help with depression? Because I feel like I hate exercising, but anytime I do it, I'm like, I feel like $1 million.
It's helping me. Yes, I mean it's helping me clear my mind, and it feels good. Yeah, I feel like $1 million, and you know, I'm not a big workout guy either, but lately, you know, it's been going good, and I want to keep the weight down, and I've been feeling good. So. But yeah,
if I can't if I can't work out, you know what I do? I put on or if I'm feeling depressed, there's nothing that fixes depression like a Sylvester Stallone movie. A couple of
That's
those.
the best. That's the best. What's your go-to?
Probably Rambo First Blood, but I usually fast forward a little bit because it's a lot of talking. You
Mm.
know, it's the parties at the end. I know you like Die Hard. I love Die Hard. Die Hard 2 is underrated.
Yeah.
Die Hard 2 is underrated.
Dude, I think Die Hard 3 is underrated. Die Hard 3 with Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, yeah. You're
That's a
right. I
good
love
one.
that shit. With the German bad guy.
Dude, I'm a big Rocky
and
fan.
Then I just Oh, Rocky's great.
I'll watch Rocky
couldn't
all
really
day.
get in the Creed.
I don't like
couldn't really
Creed.
get in the Creeds.
Can I tell you something? I don't like Michael
No
B. Jordan.
offense. No offense.
What's that?
Yeah.
What-
I said no offense. You know?
Yeah, no, I don't like Michael B. Jordan. Like, I'm not a fan. I think that he was great as a villain in Black Panther, and that's about it.
Oh my God.
In
yeah.
in Creed, he's kind of arrogant, and I don't really care if he wins the fight. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about his story. Like, Rocky was a love
like,
story, man.
I was like, can this guy die like his dad? You know what I mean? I thought he was gonna die in the first one, please. You know.
You know,
But,
I remember when Creed came out, I remember reading something where he complained that he didn't get a nomination. I was like, bro, you weren't good.
Yeah.
Like, they could have gotten any dude that remotely looked like Apollo Creed, which he doesn't. All they needed was like a black boxer who could somewhat act. Like, you like really brought nothing to the table. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, there's only certain boxers I like in movies. Like even Jake Gyllenhaal did that boxing movie. I was like, that was cool. The only other boxing movie I like next to Rambo is The Fighter with Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg. That is fire.
Dude, have you ever seen Warrior?
Oh, that's fire too, but isn't that UFC?
It's an MMA movie, but it's still fucking great. It's still a combat sport movie.
I'm like, wait a second, isn't that UFC?
Yeah, man. I've been, I've been working out at night now because I watch a ton of movies, but I'm doing a lot of projects, writing, and I'm working out. You know, whatever it is, the nights are the hardest for me because I usually was out doing shows or hanging out at clubs, I've been working out. I'm doing a workout right after we're done, which is why I wore this down here. Like as soon as we're done, I'll go behind the curtain and work out.
Right.
And and then I got to write a little. I took on a lot of projects, but like I have another project that I want to do where on Instagram I want to start recording like stories, where I just do a story. I'll do a story each episode, just kind of throw them out on Instagram.
So let's hit that story thing because I have stories I want to do on stage. I've tried and kind of improv the funny parts along the way. I have the punch, but you know what I mean? I'm still working it out. How do you go in with a story? First mic, how are you going in with the story?
The first time you ever tell the story, like at a mic, you just tell the story. Just tell the story. Don't try to be funny.
Bullet points or anything.
Don't try to be funny. Just tell the story. You can go up there with your bullet points on the story.
Yeah.
Just go up there and tell the story. And then, you're going to feel where there was no laughs. Right. And you're going to, and your natural instinct is going to go, let me make a joke out of this because I really don't like this not laughing. And then your body will throw something out. It might be trash. It might be something you can work with.
Right.
Go back and watch the video and you can see where you need to do jokes and some stuff that helps stories. Exaggerations are great. Painting a picture is good.
So detail, when you say the painting the picture, that's the detail. That's
the detail. Yeah. So, this guy walks up to me. Where were you?
Right.
Weren't you at the grocery store? Why didn't you tell me that? Because that's probably going to paint a nice picture for me so you're in public. This is probably going to be funnier. And then also throughout stories, here's little tricks to get laughs throughout a story. Say things like, so I'm at home and my wife comes by vacuuming, right? Don't say that. You say, my wife comes by with the fucking Tyson. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
And they'll get a little chuckle because people think of that stupid Tyson vacuum commercial, you know.
You know, before you go on, sorry.
Yeah.
Such an asshole. Someone told me once to be as specific as possible. That's funny. You know what I mean? Like you just said, the Tyson. Like you're saying,
yeah.
You know what I mean? You're
saying
brands. You're describing the thing to the T, so people have an image. I get it.
Because if you say like, so I grabbed the laundry detergent, that's not a funny line. You know, it's just a part of the story. But if you say, so I grabbed the Tide, it paints an image. It gives people, it makes it seem like you don't talk like normal people talk. You know, like you're really around your house going, honey, where's the Tide? You know, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just, and then I used to do these exercises with this comic named Greg Wilson. We would do these exercises where you put a bunch of, you could do this with your wife just for fun, dude, and say, hey, help me out with a project. And you put a bunch of stuff on papers and you like fold them and put them in a jar or a hat. And then you reach in and you randomly pull out a paper, have her do ones for you. You don't even know what's in there. And you'll pull something out and you got to think of things for it. Like you pull something out and it'll say electric car. So now you got to start thinking of words for electric cars. What's a funnier way to say electric car? So you don't want to do the obvious. You don't want to do the obscure. You want to do the golden ticket one, which is right in the middle. So you don't want to do Tesla. It's the obvious. You don't want to do one no one's ever heard of. So you're going to go smart car.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Just have her throw a bunch of random shit in there. Then it's practice for you, and put a timer on and see, you got to come up with 3. Give me the obvious, give me the obscure, and then give me the golden. That's what they call it in comedy. The golden ticket answer.
Just that one out of left field.
Yeah. And then when you do stories.
Hey, that cross. The cross thing you're talking about and the Jesus saying, why would he do that? Because he was on it. That hit me out of left field.
Yeah.
I thought that was a golden thing. So,
yeah,
I get what you're saying.
A left turn, they call it. Yeah. You think it's going one way, then it goes the other. And then another little tip for helping you with your story, because again, as you know, just telling the story is not always funny. Another little tip to make it funny along the way is reference things. If you reference stuff, you'll get a laugh where there wouldn't be. Like, if you just sit there and go, so I'm standing there and I'm really scared, you're just telling me the story. But if you stand there and you say like, so I'm sitting there and I'm feeling like the guy from, and you think of like a movie or something where it stands out in your brain, like that guy was so scared. I'm sitting there like the little kid in Jurassic Park when you know what I mean? Right. And then people laugh. They're like, oh, you put an image. Oh man, yeah. He, this is big dude. You know what I mean? And I'm picturing him feeling like a little kid scared. It says so much. It says so much.
Wow, I'm thinking about how I tell stories.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I need a makeover.
Well, dude, I still do with all my stories. Not all of them are just going to be ready for the stage. You just got to.
And you know what? I think, I'm assuming you do this, and I do this. I don't know if it's smart or not. Even on big shows, I actually did a big show a couple months ago in the Valley. It's a little less restrictive out there. And it was like fucking 200 people.
Wow.
And I tried a new story because I fucking love the punchline. And
go.
I did act outs and I improv'd it. But I guess my whole point is like, I guess there's going to be times out there you're just going to try it and risk it all.
Yeah. Just
you
tell a story, man.
Out yourself, You
could. I mean, I would just go to Mike's the first time and just tell the story. Just tell us what happened. Don't try to be funny. As soon as you try to be funny, you're going to lose everybody. Just tell us what happened. Tell me the story. And that's why I don't only do stories. If I only did stories, they'd all be kind of forced. Not everything's a great story. That's why I do a lot of bits, and then I save my stories for the end of my performance, because they'll be longer without laughs, as where you want to get all your laughs up front. Once you convince them that you're funny, you can do a story and it's fine.
I wonder if that's why. Now he's an exception, but I've studied him. I wonder if that's why Joey Diaz gets so mad before his sets. Have you heard him talk about that? He goes out there like he just like someone said his wife's pussy smells, and he's ready to kill someone. And I kind of get that because, like you're saying, is if a story is funny, you don't have to be funny. You can just tell it.
He's just naturally funny at telling stories, even if they're not funny stories. He's just funny, and he doesn't do it on stage. Like he does it off stage. The best his best stories, the audiences have no idea. Like him just telling you something that happened that day on the patio. It's like he just has a gift of gab.
Right. So you got to look at examples like that and add to your repertoire. This is great. I love it. So you go in, you tell the story straight. I got to try this once mics start, and you just build from there.
Yeah, just go in.
Until you feel like it's ready.
Don't tell a story because you want to try to prove that you're a storyteller. Tell a story because it's actually going to make for a great story, whether it be original, funny, unique, interesting. You're going to make a really excellent point in there or something.
Do you do material that you find funny?
Yeah. I personally like the stories the best, but people laugh the best at the bits. Right. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with doing the story and not getting laughs because I've proved to them I'm funny. I've got this killer bit about penises. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I have a great dick bit. It's not a dick joke. It's a whole bit on penises and how they look and all this shit like that. And it goes great. And dick pics and all that stuff that guys send. And then I have a story about the first time I ever sent someone a dick pic. Now the story doesn't have as much punchlines, but I just murdered with this. And so now I'm taking them down. The story's fine without laughs because you just killed them with laughs. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's okay to calm them down and quiet them for a little bit, and everything gets real quiet, and they want to hear the story. They want to hear how it ends. As long as the story goes boom at the end.
The way you're doing that, it's almost like you're petting their head. Like, calm down.
Calm down. Yeah. Well, you got to control them. That's the goal, is to connect with your audience, that you can bring them up when you want to, and you can bring them back down when you want to, so you can set them up again.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah. I think the one thing, and this, the early parts of comedy, it's just getting comfortable on stage, getting comfortable with
absolutely
the pauses, because I heard pauses are like really powerful in comedy, but it's like 2 seconds of silence up there, it feels like eternity. You're like, I'm bombing. Yeah. I gotta say some funny dad fuck shit.
Yeah. Well, this is something that I've learned early on, is that this silence does not mean you're bombing. You've only bombed when you lost the room. Okay. Lost the room means people are talking to each other, or they're looking over there. It doesn't have to be the whole crowd, but pockets of people are not paying attention. That means you've lost the room. But if people are staring at you, zoned in on you, but they're silent, it just means they're listening. So give them something. Yeah. You haven't lost the room yet.
Yeah. I think a bomb to me, and people don't realize it, but comedians do afterwards, is when you go back to the recording and you're like, how does dildos go with grandma's lasagna? You know what I mean? But,
yeah.
So it's one thing I need to work on. I don't know if you work on this. I get hard on myself a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm horrible. This is disgusting. Meanwhile, people said it was a great set. They loved it. People clapped. They laughed. Why am I beating myself up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also kind of like, this is going to get me, if I'm hard on myself, it'll get me to the next level. So I don't know.
I wouldn't beat yourself up too much, especially when you had a good set, not because your friends told you, but you can hear the audience. Yeah. And so don't beat yourself up too much. But like, yeah, dude, I do that too. I'm my own worst critic, and you gotta be. Should always be criticizing. You got it killed, but the audience doesn't know that. Man, if I just said that word instead, that would have killed even harder. They don't know that.
Right.
But you do. So next time you'll do it.
Right. That's true. Yeah, it's hard to listen back to the recordings. I'm like, oh my God.
Man. I
I
hate it.
listened back the other day. I was like, I think I might be gay. Horrible. Yeah.
Why'd you think that, Alex? Well, I was fucking this dude on the recording.
Yeah, I forgot I left the recording on. I realized.
Yeah, so I got this one story that I'm working on right now. What were you gonna say?
Nothing. Keep going.
Oh, I was gonna say I got this one story that I'm working on right now. I'll tell you. And what do you say to that? Should we wrap up with a story? Do you usually do anything else to wrap up?
Yeah, I was mention let's land the plane soon, but I'm digging this. So.
Oh yeah, so we'll wrap up with the story, and then we'll land the plane. This is an unfinished story that I want to become a story on stage. It's not yet. Okay. So this is something that really happened to me. And do you remember when the like Tupac hologram happened at Coachella?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's when this was. That's the year it was. And I have a friend of mine who's an extremely wealthy, connected friend, and he gets this idea where he goes, well, I want to do like a hologram, but I'm going to bring back like the Rat Pack. He wants to bring back Sinatra, Dean Martin, like all those guys. He goes, and then we'll have them perform like at a Las Vegas show. And I'm like, dude, that's a great idea. So he's a pretty well-off dude. He hires the company, hires the technicians, everybody to fucking make this thing.
Wow.
And they do. And then they're going to pitch it one day, bro. So he calls me and he goes like, bro, we're going to pitch it. Do you want to come in and see the pitch? And I'm like, sure. And he's like, cool. We rented out the Alex Theater. It's in Glendale, California. So I go, okay. He goes, come in. I'll get you in the back door. So I go in there, bro. And I sit down and there's only me, him, the technicians who run the thing. And then we're waiting on who's he going to pitch to. So in walks in Steve Wynn.
Oh shit.
Of the Wynn Hotels, okay? Yeah. And he's got like two goons on his arm, okay? Right? Like holding him up. Because here's what a lot of people don't know. Steve Wynn is blind.
Oh shit.
So he's really blind. He can't see. So he has two dudes like walking him to his seat. Now, we're going to pitch a hologram show to a blind guy. Okay? So we sit down and then they go, everyone put on your 3D glasses. So imagine, everybody's putting on the 3D glasses, but this poor blind guy acts like Steve Wynn doesn't act like he's blind. Like he's just like, give me the glasses. I got to see this shit. Like he puts them on. And then, so the show starts and Paul Anka walks out on stage, not a hologram. Paul Anka. Okay. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay, because that's the other. That's my other problem is that with the story is that I think that people don't know who he is. Paul Anka basically opened for Sinatra all his career, and Paul Anka writes songs, and he probably wrote everything Sinatra ever sang. Okay.
Okay.
So Paul Anka walks out on stage, and then he's like, "Hey, I'm Paul Anka, and I'm going to do a little presentation for you with my friend Frank Sinatra." And he goes like that and points, and like, dude, these stairs appear, and like Frank Sinatra comes like walking down the stairs, and it's a hologram of Sinatra in his prime with the hat and everything, and he starts singing My Way, and he walks all the way down the stairs, gets next to Paul Anka, and they do a duet together of My Way, bro. It was crazy. And at the end, takes his hat off. He throws it into the crowd, and it's 3D glasses. So the hat's like, right? And dude, I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I can't believe I got to be one of the first people to ever see it. So then, the lights come back on. Everything's fine. Everybody's like quiet, looking at Steve Wynn to see what he's going to say. And then Steve Wynn goes, "That was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life."
Oh my God.
Dude, he hated it. A blind guy is telling us that he didn't like it was the worst thing he'd ever seen. And he starts going off on Paul Anka. Like right there while Paul Anka's still on stage, he starts going like, "How dare you take advantage of our friendship, and you call me all the way down to get on a plane for this shit?"
God.
And Paul Anka is just sitting there like all like kind of retarded, you know what I mean? Like taking his ear beating. Dude, he looked like Dustin Hoffman in The Graduate when the mom's coming on to him for the first time. Like that's how he looked like in the corner.
He was such a pussy. Just fuck the mom.
So you see the movie reference kind of painted a picture for you. And then dude, so he's just going off and all this stuff. So like it never got made. It does not exist. That show does not exist in Vegas because it was pitched to a blind man.
Oh my God.
And I really don't know how to end that story. And obviously it needs to move faster. It needs to go funnier. And
you had, for some reason, it could be because I'm not the brightest guy, but when you said, I don't know if you know this, but the wind is blind, I didn't think about, well, it's a show until you say it again. We're pitching to a blind guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was just me. That's just an audience thing that you have to say it again to get them. Oh yeah, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like repeat yourself to make sure they have it. You know?
I should say think to myself, how are we going to pitch something to a blind guy? You know, and then I'm also thinking towards the end of the story to kind of reference something else, like another great thing. Like think about if we ever pitched it to like a famous deaf person type of thing, we would never have this or something like that, using examples.
I like that. My first thought was the roast win and say like, yeah, it makes sense. He doesn't know what greatness looks like. I got an image of his wife, but I don't know how you, that's more of a jab in it.
Yeah. And then, I mean, if I could make it work one day, that would be great. That'd be a great story. And at the very least, maybe it won't be that funny, but it's just a story to tell at the end of shows that really kind of like a bonus track type deal.
You had me, why it was a good story, why I like it, and how I'm like, fuck, I need to find something like this, is you had me thinking, okay, where is he gonna go with this?
Yeah, I don't go anywhere with it.
I know, but like that's a good start because you have the audience like, oh yeah, this is fun.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's a fun story to hear. I think it's crazy. Like, I think that
that's real.
Yeah, that's 100% real. Exactly the way I told you.
So let me ask you a question then. If you got the real story.
Mm-hmm.
Do you add fake things in to make it interesting or funnier?
I have done that with stories, and there's nothing wrong with it. This one, I don't really see. See, you add stuff to make things more crazy or exaggerated than it actually is. This is already kind of crazy, so I just need to make it funny.
So, what about even for the punchline? The lie about something happening for...
If I think of it, I'll do it. But so far, that hasn't been the solution.
I'm just curious in my own, when I'm done with this and I put on my little goggles to go right, what am I, what would I change the punchline to some, I have a story. Now, the problem is I'm love talking about poop and stuff, and it's hard because, people are eating and stuff. But I have a story about shitting in a parking lot because I couldn't find a bathroom. My son's in the car.
Yeah.
And I look up after I'm done, and there's a camera right on me. And my whole thing is like, I don't want to get caught with a shit and run. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, do it. I mean, who cares? I know a lot of guys that got poop jokes. Fucking do it.
Yeah. I've done it. I did it once, and I got some good little feedback, But I never know what's good, what's not. And then sometimes you run stuff by the comedians, and I'm telling you, I think when you get in comedy, you do lose a little laughing because you hear so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I tell some comedians, they're like, yeah, it's funny. Like, I can't. You're saying it's funny. I don't know if it is. You're not laughing.
Well, that story, if it's got some good build up, it'll be great. Your punchline's funny. Another place that I would go with it is just like, you all of a sudden you look and there's a camera, and you can take it where I'm not even worried about getting in trouble. I should be worried about getting in trouble. I'm now just worried that like I'm on someone's camera shitting, like someone has that footage of me now. And then you can take that to, I like, that's how we think. Like that's how ego we are, we are as human beings. Like, we get caught on like a security camera, like shitting, and we think that we're violated. Imagine the dude on the other end of that camera. You know what I mean?
Right. That's good.
And then I got to do a shit and run. You know what I mean? You can throw that in there too.
I wasn't talking about you.
What do you mean?
When I said, comedians.
Oh no, I didn't think so.
Okay.
No, I didn't think so. I was gonna tell you.
I appreciate the feedback. I was more thinking about Zach and Jordan. You know who you are. But anyways, God, we could do a couple hours. We really hit it off this one. The last one, I was kind of like a crack whore talking to you for $1. It was really. I think I was a little nervous and
pancreatitis.
As you get more into comedy, you stop giving a fuck what you say, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, you definitely do better when you don't care.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. Well, I'm the best at that. Just ask my wife.
Yeah, man, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for having me, and thanks for letting me use this footage too on Homeschooled for Swapcast. And
dude, you saved me some time. Let me do one ad real quick, okay?
Yeah, do it.
I appreciate you being on Midnight in the Bay. You guys can hit me up with questions, or if you want to find out shows, you can hit me up on Midnight in the Bay podcast at gmail.com, or on my Instagram, lovethegram_Alex Woody Comedy. I will be in Sacramento at Vance's restaurant. I'll be posting more details on the Instagram there. And then that's the 31st of January. Also, this podcast is brought to you by Silvertongue Audio. Go to silvertongueaudio.org for free podcast content. Mine is right there, 166 episodes, free download, Apple, Android, tablet, Xbox 360. You'll find it right there. And then there's another podcast, Dazed and Disturbed. It's like disturbing topics, but the guy smokes, so he shines a little light on it. It's kind of goofy, which I can relate with comedy. And then the other one is the NPC podcast, the non-player character podcast. It's a video game podcast, hence the name, and they talk about video games, but it's very interesting, trending stuff going on in the news, stuff from the past. And these people are in the industry, so it's very interesting. Go check that out at silvertongueaudio.org. All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Mr. Zoida, thank you.
Yes, sir. I just realized who else you look like.
Who?
Jon Favreau.
Okay.
When you talk a little bit. Bro, you're a combination of Jon Favreau, Tom Segura, Lee Sayat.
That one I'm ashamed of. But
what's it like up there in Sacramento? You guys starting to have some stuff open? I saw that Punchline was starting doing outdoor shows again.
I'm about an hour south. I'm closer to like Oakland, San Francisco. But Sacramento, the outdoor dining's open. Down here, it's not. It's a lot more liberal. It's a lot more people are crying. They don't know what to do. Just open it up.
Is there no mics where you are?
No, there was, and I was doing outdoor shows. And then just it stopped. Some guy does it at a park, but it's like now it's dark early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the guy's kind of a dickhead, so
okay.
I don't do it. So that's the whole thing. I'm doing this headlining gig. I haven't been doing mics. I'm like, fuck. Let's hope this goes well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I heard that my sister's in Sacramento, so I just heard that she was saying that they are starting to open a little bit. She told me she went to a restaurant indoors the other day.
So you know what Laughs Unlimited does up there is they put headphones on the audience members.
I've seen.
Yeah, so the comedians is talking directly to them, and I heard it's great because you can make fun of people, and the people can't hear. Just the audience members.
Right. No, that's a great idea. I think that's great.
So, the whole thing, this with comedy, the whole thing, it's really who you know, being seen in front of the right people. So I'll be at 3 years in February, and I'm still meeting people, getting the connections. So these are some Sacramento connections, but I'm really in a location in the Bay where like Walnut Creek, Pleasanton, there's a club there, Tommy T's.
Yeah, I know that one too.
Yeah, so I'm in a good location. I know when you come up here, you go to San Jose. That's probably about 45 miles away from me.
Yeah.
But that's a good club.
I was doing the fuck. Why am I drawing a blank? The Punchline.
Oh yeah. I was gonna do it for the very first time, and then the pandemic.
Wait, which one? I'm getting confused. Which one's the one where they're doing the headphones? Unlimited.
Last Unlimited.
Yeah,
So
I was usually doing the Punchline when I go to Sac or San Fran.
Okay. Yeah, so like Laughs Unlimited is probably like the Cobbs of Sacramento.
Uh-huh. Right.
I've never done Punchline, either one. I did Cobbs, and the room is fucking huge.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've never did Cobbs. I've heard that.
Yeah.
Let me know if you hear anything going on, dude, in Sacramento, because I don't mind to make the trip up if it's going to be a decent gig. And
yeah, you should hit up the people at Laughs Unlimited. I don't know if you got connects there.
You know what, dude? I've been vouched for about 3 or 4 times in that club, and I can't ever get anywhere. And I've actually showcased for the booker about 3 times and had murderous sets, and they were never in the room.
Weird.
They're like, yeah, you can go up. Let's check you out. And then they were never in there.
So that's, I guess, how it is with certain clubs, right?
I guess. I mean, I've been vouched for a bunch. I know that they make you come in as a feature one time, and then the next time they'll headline you. But I've even tried to do that so many times I can't get anybody to respond.
So what would you consider yourself, a feature or a headliner?
I mean, I'm at a point where I'll take both because there's nothing really else going on. I can headline, I have, and I just don't get as much as I do feature work. But I was kind of before the pandemic almost transitioning to doing more and more headline stuff. But now I'll fucking take anything, dude.
Yeah. No, I mean, dude, a really great area for comedy. And I'm hoping that when this is over, there's going to be a boom that we've never seen before. You think the boom that they had at the Comedy Store lately and that we were having was big? I think it's going to be even bigger.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I'd like to get out there. Is there like breweries and stuff open?
Oh yeah,
in Sacramento.
Well, see, I think they are. Like I said, I don't really go up there unless it's for like a show.
Yeah.
But like I heard the Outdoors is, so I'm assuming. And I love the brewery shows.
Right, me too. All right, well, cool, man. Well, thanks for having me on, and thank you for doing the Homeschool Podcast. It's good to see you, and I'm gonna head back here. I'm gonna go work out.
Oh yeah, okay, dude. Appreciate it.
You're starting to buffer. Thanks, anyway. Dude. All right, man. Say hi to the wife. You guys take care. Say hi to your mother-in-law. Text her back and be like, Jesus is good. You're right.
Yeah, you're right.
Text her back the GIF. Just send her one of these.
I should send her a picture of my dick. But...
Oh man, not another one. You know we're still recording, right?
She does not watch.
Okay, all right.
No, hey, wait, real quick.
Yeah.
Do you get this? Are you ever afraid of posting stuff, or your wife's ever afraid of you posting stuff that could offend family members, religious people?
No.
Okay. Right. I didn't get any wife.
My wife's family is Russian, and I don't. The ones that do speak English are cool as hell, and the ones that don't aren't ever gonna understand what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, they're cool.
But right, yeah, dude. Peace out, man. You be safe. Take care.
Right.
Later. All right, you guys. That was Alex Woody, up and coming comic in the Bay Area. I love talking to up and coming comics. It does a lot for me, and it just brings me to a good place of hanging out with comedians and talking about writing and the little tricks I've learned along the way. And I love sharing that with comics, and comics are always good to me that have been doing it longer than me. So they've always given me tips, and that's how I learned all this stuff. So got to pass it on if you can. But that's it, everybody. Don't forget to check us out at homeschoolpod.com. We can use the support, t-shirts, stickers, mugs. Download my comedy album, The Bad Guy, that we were talking about. I think you'll really, really enjoy it. And if you guys like listening to stand-up comedy on Pandora, do me a favor and just listen to it on my station. You'll still get, a variety of different stand-up tracks, but you'll be helping me out because I get paid every time you listen to that. So just hit up Augustino Zoida Radio on Pandora. And don't forget to click the link in the description for Puffy Mattress. And that's it, you guys. Be safe. I hope you're having a great week. Lock the doors. Don't go near the main city areas. It's fucking inauguration day. You don't know what's going to go down, but either way, it ain't going to be good. So just stay inside, protect your family, protect yourselves and your loved ones. And remember that only love is going to save the world. I'm Augustino Zoida. This is Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschool Podcast. Homeschool.
The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
I don't want to do that.